I would also like to take this opportunity to welcome everybody here. Our representative from government of Uganda, the executive committee of FUFA, the representatives from the different stakeholders, the team, please, you're welcome to this event. Before I proceed, I want to thank the Federation of Uganda Football Association, from the executive committee to our members, for the work well done for us to be where we are today and why we are here. I also want to thank the government of Uganda, headed by His Excellency the President of the Republic of Uganda, and the Minister in charge of Education, and the entire government apparatus for the support they give us. We will not be able to achieve some of the achievements we're talking about today. But why not also today to take the opportunity to thank the parents, because we are talking about players who are below 17 years of age, who are still under parental control, that the parents have allowed us to have the children during school time to be able to represent their country. I want also to thank the different schools where these children are coming from, that also they have allowed the children to be available and give them opportunity to take best of their talent. The different academies, Chairman Robert Chiwanuka and your team, because we see these players, but it has been a long journey, even as you see them to be under 17 years, but it has been a long journey. They are not starting today. In the modern game, player development starts as early as 10, 11 years. So we are seeing them, but they have been under different academies, but also clubs. So the representatives from clubs here, Vipers Sports Club, KCCA Football Club, and all other clubs. Please, we are very proud that we have appreciated the Mulamwa of FUFA to take on junior teams and be able to manufacture players of the future. Of course, the Garant players, yourselves, thank you so much for the work you've done for this country, that you listened, you worked very hard, you delivered. The coach and your team, thank you so much for also working very hard. We appreciate as a country for the work you've done. The media for the reporting, because we've been able to report what has been happening. Also, thank you so much for doing your job. The fans, I'm told there were fans as early as 5 o'clock at the airport waiting for the team, but the fans have been with us all along, right from the time we played in Chivubo Sekafa to qualify, but also they have been glued on TV, and they have been posting on social media. Thank you so much. Without you, you give us the fuel to run. Thank you so much. But also, let me take special thanks to Mr. Ali Semialo. He's not here. He's a former national team player, but on his own cost, traveled to Morocco and stayed with the team throughout. It's very, very rare. Former footballer at the national team, but at his own cost to go and stay with the team. And I was there. I found him there. That place was not very easy to stay. There was no proper food. And I was actually very worried when I was there that our team would be affected. But these are younger players. They say, no, President, for us, we're okay with the food. We shall soldier on. And thank you so much, Ali Semialo, to be with us. I want to bring you congratulatory messages from His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda, and Mama, the Minister. Yesterday, we were in a meeting about AFCON and CHAN, and this is what they said, that they congratulate you very much, and it was my duty to deliver this message. Without going so much forward, allow me also to say that as a federation, this has been strategy. You know, everything is done by strategy. There are very many people who have said these people are lucky. Yeah, we are lucky. But luck loves those who plan, because whatever we are doing, whatever we are seeing today is planned. We sit in the boardroom and we do a strategy. And we said for us to be able to succeed at the highest level, we need to deliberately make intentions about youth football. Because in the modern game, if you don't play football at the right time, there is no accident that later you'll come up and play football. It's no longer possible. People have been saying we don't have players in the top leagues in Europe. It's not going to happen until you intentionally invest people, time, and money into youth football. The countries we look at and admire, they have done this for very many years. These competitions we are talking about are competitions that we have not been engaged into, but they have been around. So in 2015, we deliberately decided that let us invest in youth football. Remember when we started the Juniors League, and many naysayers thought that it cannot happen, it's not practical. But since 2015, when we launched the FUFA Juniors League, there's been a lot of success already. Because as we speak, we have played the finals of the Africa Cup of Nations under 20, we all know. And as we speak, 5 of those players are mainstay in the senior team today. People will see Aziz Kayondo today, they will not appreciate where we started. They will see Bobos there, they will see even Shaban with the under 17 when we started. They will see Gavin, they will see, Kenneth Samakula, all these players. It's not by accident, it's by design. That until you do youth football, you will not be able. So we started the league. And we have since entered all international available competitions by CAF and FIFA. It's not cheap to run 10 national football teams. It's extremely expensive. They travel by air, and the cost of a ticket is not cheaper because you're under 17. It's the same whether you're a senior player or not. And as a federation, we want to thank the government that he has given us the resources to be able to do this. It's not practical if you don't have the money. Football is expensive. You travel by air, you stay in hotels. This is not cheap. And I'm talking about 10 different national teams, because we have done under 15. These players we are seeing here have already played at under 15. And many of them, I can give you names. The captain, Okello, you saw here, played in the national team under 15. So today we are celebrating him as under 17, but he has already played as under 15. And that was a national team in a competition which was international for us. We also had Luchams, we had Ogema, we had Wanyama, we had Langol. All these have graduated from the under 15. We are seeing them today as under 17 national team players. But if we had not played the under 15, you would not have them at this level. So it comes at a cost. We have also been able to introduce different competitions. I said the FUFA Juniors League, but we have also introduced Dodilo. And again, when we bring these initiatives, people do not appreciate. But we wanted to come and introduce football, very organized football at primary school level. And today, as we celebrate this achievement, we have a player called Langol. Where is Langol? You can stand up. And also a player called Wanyama, who scored one of the goals there. Wanyama, you can also stand up. These are products of the Odilo Cup that we started for the primary school. So these things are not coming by accident. We have also had the CAF champions, the schools championship, the one started by CAF. And we have been very deliberate in participating. And we have Mukwanga. Where's Mukwanga? Stand up. We have also Chaku, stand up. We also have Mubiru, stand up. We also have Ogema, stand up. All these are played in this CAF Schools Championship. And now they are here, again by design. Thank you so much, and you can sit down. We have also done the FUFA TV Cup. And we have had players who have come through and observed their art. In the FUFA TV Cup, we have had Owino, please stand up. We have also had Magogo Shakul, please stand up. And this has been a competition we introduced for schools that we are not really engaging themselves in football. So all these initiatives have been very deliberate. But we have not stopped at that. We have also tried to come elsewhere, and you have seen there is Sozi from Fort Portal. Where is Sozi? I saw him standing up. So our machinery is not only looking in the juniors league, but we are looking everywhere else where we get the younger talents that have an opportunity. We have even gone to Europe. There is Ethan Oyodeli, who is born of a Nigerian father and a Muganda mother. Because people were asking, let us be clear about this. And as a player in the international regulations, you can choose to play where any of your parents comes from. And the young man has chosen to play for Uganda, is in a college in the UK, and the mother is connected to the Uganda Kingdom, for your own information. So the young man is very Ugandan by that. As a federation, we have done deliberate regulations to ensure that there is continuity for these younger players. When we came up with the issue of the double licensing of players, I mean, there is always going to be somebody to stand up. But the intention was to provide more playing time, so that these players are signed up by these top clubs, they're investing money in them, but they need playing time for them to be able to compete and be able to develop and get better. And this was strictly for the players who are below the age of 21, definitely targeting the output of the juniors league and some of these competitions we're doing. We have also launched the technical master plan, like Mr. Kalima said. This is very, very intentional, and I'm insisting on being intentional. That the technical master plan is looking at the path of the player. For you to be able to get that player to the top, that player must be identified very early. So identification is very, very important. And when you look at the system that we are doing, even at the level of FIFA, it has been recognized in the whole world. And there is a study being done to ensure that this probably could be taken to the rest of the countries. Our identification under the technical master plan is intended. We have a scout in every district, and there is a whole computer application on the web where these players are tapped and eventually monitored. And we believe when this system lasts for 5 years, there will be no talent hidden and undiscovered. Then there's also intentional development to ensure that we have the right coaches for these players, because identification is one thing, but also development is another. There are so many talents that have been identified, but how have they been handled for them to deliver the products? But we also have an engagement with the professional clubs to ensure that if these players eventually get to age, they are also managed, motivated, also trained and prepared as professionals, because we cannot say we shall always wait for players to get out of Uganda and out of Africa for them to be under professional environment. We can create the professional environment right here at home, for that the players are paid well and they access proper training and an environment that enables them to benefit best from their talents. And of course, the life after football, how are we going to retain the people who have dedicated their life to football? If you are identified at the age of 12, you get into football training, and then you retire, having not learned any other trade. How can you be prepared to live in the life after? So all these things are intentional. And I want to use this opportunity to thank everybody, once again, who has made a contribution in your different capacities. We may not be able to mention everybody, but for us, this is going to be a longer journey we are walking. As you are aware, a national team that everybody follows, the Uganda Cranes, normally a national team is a generation of about 10 years. You will have a 30-year-old on the team and a 20-year-old, normally, apart from a few exceptional cases. But under normal circumstances, the national team is between the age of 20 and 30. And that means that you'll have about 3 generations of players. You'll have those in the 27, 28 up to 30, you'll have those in 24, 25, 26, then you have those of 20. All these different players bring different qualities and values to the team. So for us to be able to have a national team that performs best to the interest of every Ugandan, to the happiness of every Ugandan, we must be having the junior teams that are generating players every other year. And I want to get back to the players and tell you that the success rate of youth football, even in the best conditions in the world, and I've heard so many people saying, why don't you keep that group together? Why don't you have all of it to graduate into the senior team? I want to assure you it is not practical. Even in the best conditions in Europe, it doesn't happen. The percentage rate of success is less than 1%. But it is the only way you can get to the top. Whether it's not efficient, it's the only way. And success depends on very many factors. The first being your talent, and God has given you this talent. Already you have it. That's a God given. I'm not doubting that out of 40 million, for you to be chosen to be here, for you to go out there and perform, the issue is no longer talent. But after talent, there are other things that are required. It's how much hours are you committing to football? Football requires a lot of hours for you to be able to succeed. They say for you to be able to succeed at the highest level, you need 10,000 hours of repeating, doing the same thing before you are successful. And 10,000 hours, if you did 8 hours every day, you'd need 8 years. So it needs a lot of time. So as players, understand that this is just a platform. There is a lot that you can make out of your talent, but only when you commit hours. The next thing is also the discipline. There is nobody who succeeds in anything without discipline. And discipline is understanding the do's and the don'ts of your trade. Every trade has do's and don'ts. I'm sure you are in very able hands of the coaches, at the clubs, at the federation. But discipline is something to do with yourself. Nobody is going to act on your behalf. You act on your own behalf. So if you want to be in the 1% that succeeds, then don't forget the hours to commit. Then don't forget the discipline. And don't forget that for you to succeed, you must love what you're doing. Passion. You can never succeed. Remember, there are 250 million footballers who are trying to become professional. 250 million in the whole world. But only 2 out of 1,000 are professional. So you can imagine the 998 want to join those 2. That's how difficult it is. So if you want to be among the 2 for everyone, now here you are 25. But they are saying only 2 will become part of the 1,000. Out of a whole 1,000 will be able to succeed. And luck, which everybody talks about, in Uganda it's always there is nothing like mikisa here. Luck loves those who have the other 4. Talent, you cannot be lucky if you don't have talent. However much luck works, it can never work. You cannot be lucky if you are not disciplined. You cannot be lucky if you are not committing hours. You cannot be lucky if you don't love what you're doing. I want to conclude by saying, for me it was an experience. Always let us go for a mission. We went to Morocco with a mission. We talked to the team before you departed. When we were in Morocco before the games, we talked and said, guys, we have a mission. And the mission is going to the World Cup. Over to tier, over to tier. That was the mission. And we played 360 minutes of football in Morocco. 360 minutes. And I want to say that the first 45 minutes of our football in Morocco was a disaster. We accept. There were very many reasons. I believe after the first half of the game against Morocco, after that we played football. Damage had been done in the first 45 minutes that could have cost us our mission. But the guys came back in the second half people may not have noticed, and put up a fight. It is easy to fly, but when you fall down, it's very difficult to get up. So like the coach said immediately after the game against Morocco, we have to sit down. And first of all, as the administrators, pick up the coaches. And after that, go and pick up the players and tell them, guys, it is possible. It is still very possible and in our hands. And remember what I told you, we have only one game to win. When we win it, we'll go to the World Cup, isn't it? And that was the game against Tanzania. We said, when we win the game against Tanzania, we will go to the World Cup, because we shall have bought a ticket of two possibilities. Either going into the quarterfinals, which will be automatic World Cup, or at least an opportunity to play another team. And it will be within our hands. And as we also, the performance we had in the second game, in the second half of Morocco, continued in the game against Tanzania. It's only that sometimes in Uganda we evaluate goals as performance. Some of these countries. And some of the best players we see in the world today have actually made their success story from the FIFA World Cup. So guys, God has given us what we have asked for. It's now about us to use both hands. And as players, how are you going to feel that you participated in the qualifications, but you are not in the team that's going to the World Cup? And it's going to happen for some of you. That's the reality of life. But the choice is yours. It is you who will choose it. I'm sure the coach would have just wanted tomorrow to continue the World Cup. But the reality of life is that if you don't keep yourself in shape, if you don't work very hard for it, between now and when the team is chosen, you will be dropped. And that's the reality of life. So can we pray to the Almighty God? Can we work very hard and ensure that we don't miss out as players to be in Qatar? God gives us the gift of life, to be able to see this, to be able to feel it, to be able to live it. I want to conclude once again by thanking everybody. FUFA, the staff, CEO, thank you so much for organizing this event for us. Sheraton Hotel, thank you so much for always welcoming us to these events. You are part of our history. And also to recognize Mr. Paulo Sali. I saw him walking in. Thank you so much for keeping with us, although you conceded the 2 goals in Ghana at the Africa Cup of Nations in 1978. But God has been kind enough that you live to see Uganda playing at the World Cup. And I believe this is the happiness of everybody. Thank you so much. God bless us all.
One, two, three. Smiles, smiles. Penalty needs it. Button our butter. Who needs it?